Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Kitchen Conversations. So excited to be here with you this evening. Let's just take a breath and breathe into this moment. Breathe into the awareness that all that there is this divine magnificence, the divine absolute knowingness and beingness that in this moment, Spirit is right here. So I'm going to let everything else go, and I'm going to be present to this moment right here. And I ask you and you and you and you to join me. Join me in this divine awareness. So let us just take a breath here. Breathing into this very moment, recognizing that all that there is Source, is God, is the divine magnificence. And in this magnificence, everything always works together for our divine highest and best good. Every stumbling block, every learning lesson, every divine opportunity to know, to be, to express better is right here, expressing in and through us. So with that, I just give thanks and praise for this evening. I'm going to open with a song. This is a great song. I love this song. It's by Alicia Keys. It's holy and sex is obscene. Then we got it twisted in this lucid dream, baptized in boundaries, schooled in sin, divided by difference, sexuality and skin. Oh, so we can hate each other and fear each other. We can build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, yourself locked. Yeah, we can hate each other and fear each other. We can build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, you're locked in. Oh, maybe we should love somebody. Hey, maybe we should care a little more. So, maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. What if sex were holy and war was obscene and it wasn't twisted? What a wonderful dream. Living for love, unafraid of the end. Forgiveness is the only real revenge. Oh, so we could heal each other and feel each other. We could break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, yourself locked. Yeah, we could heal each other and feel each other. We could break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself open, you're open. Oh, maybe we can love somebody. Hey, maybe we could care a little more. So, maybe we can love somebody instead of the bombs of holy war. What if love was holy and hate was obscene? We should give life to this beautiful dream. 'Cause peace and love, oh, it ain't so far if we nurse our wounds before they scar. Nurse our wounds before they scar. Ooh, ooh, what a great song. Thank you, Miss Keys, for that divine gift of song. So tonight we're talking about what is the lie? That's a question, huh? That's a big question. What is the lie? What is the lie? So I ran across this TEDx talk, and it talked about what is the lie invented about racism. And then it went a little further to talk about what is the lie about race. And it awakened within me thoughts and questions that I never thought about. That it really, okay, we can't do that camera. It really exposed me to some different things. And so we have on our REP page the call to action is to take a look at this TEDx talk. And please, after you look at it, hit me up with an email or text and let me know your thoughts. I was really blown away, and it inspired me to have this conversation tonight, to dive into this question, what is the lie? And I didn't add the last part about race. I wanted that to be the cliffhanger. What is the lie about race? Before I go through all of the background history, you know, I have to say for myself, I always thought that race was just what it is, that I'm black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, you're Filipino. I did understand that we were all one. And in that, not really thinking about what that oneness meant beyond a spiritual aspect, that there's only one, there's one presence, we all bleed, you know, that whole thing, but never boiling it down to race and what that means. Or even how race was created. I was like, what? How race was created. And this is great conversation. So if something comes up for you, if you feel uncomfortable, if you get angry, please Don't hold that in. Let's speak it out. Let's talk it out. Let's connect and be about it. So, on this journey of recognizing what is the lie, that there is a race, as scientists have said that, and this is scientifically, I love this phrase. Let me get it. Scientifically, there is no race gene. So there's not a race gene for black or a race gene for white or Hispanic or anything. We as human beings share the same DNA. And there's no particular gene designated that cuts out or says, oh, this gene, this is a black woman, or this gene is a white man. And I was like, wow. I knew we were all created as one, but I never thought of it like that. And so understanding that if you believe the premise that the original, that we all started from Africa, and as we scoured the world, some of us moved further away from the sun, the different terrain, the different elements, features, and our bodies were changed in such a way that we exhibit different cultural experiences. And physically, we are different in certain physical, cultural ways. But our core, that which is within each and every one of us, is the same. That scientists have not been able to pinpoint or see anything that separates us, only things that unite us and bring us together. So if race was not born, we weren't born a race, we were born human beings. Where did race come from? And by golly, like a lot of things in our culture, you follow the money. Isn't that something? You follow the money. So let me look at this. You know, they said race is just a few hundred years old. That there was a time that there wasn't a race. Everyone was just people, beings, human beings. And so, let's see here. I want to get the first guy. Okay. So this gentleman is this scholar, this man that was from Portugal, was authorized by the king to write something, to write an article on people. And so it was done in the 1450s. And it was at the start of the transatlantic slave trade. I found out that the word slave comes from Slavic. It is the Slavic people that a lot of them were enslaved, and that's where the word slave came from. And so the Portuguese man wrote this book in 1450, Dr. Gomes de Zurara. Actually, he's not a doctor. Gomes de Zurara. He wrote this book in 1450. According to Dr. Candy, who did the research on this, to actually go back and pinpoint it to one particular person that started the creation of race. And so at this time, Portugal was very, they had become very invested in going to Africa to kidnap slaves. And what Gomes de Zurara, what he did, he categorized Africans as beastly, unhuman, and lazy. And so you wonder, well, why did he do this? Because he was hired to write this book. And always they say, you follow the money. So he created this scenario about the African continent, really, the African people. He lumped everybody into one expression, one idea. He said that the Africans were an inferior people. They were beastly, and they were unhuman. And so this gave permission. This gave a permission as the Portugal and Spaniard slave traders would go to Africa and start to kidnap and take African people, because now they are justified in what they're doing. And the church took on the role of saying, yes, these are not people. It created this scenario that they are dark, we are light. And so this was the start, according to Dr. Candy, and it makes sense. Portugal was one of the first people that started to go. They started the transatlantic slave trade to go to Africa and to kidnap. They say the term race was first emerged in the English language in the late 16th century, and originally just meant type. So the word race, it's in the 16th century, just meant type. Now, what Gomez de Zurara did, he created a story. This was in the 1450s. He did not create the word race, but he created the difference. He created the black and the white. He created this story about a people with a different skin tone that looked different, spoke different. Because at that time, people had their own different cultures. The people that spoke the same, hung out together, people that lived in the same way, lived together. So that was there, but not the separation of people, of race, of a color. That had not been, that was not something that was on the table until Gomez de Zurara created this first story, according to Dr. Candy. So then in the late 16th century, the word race was created. And as I said, initially it meant type. It was created in 1735 by a Swedish scientist, Carl Lummas. And he set out to classify people differently. This is very interesting. So he classified people by the 4 continents. And he classified them, this was they called the foundation of scientific racism. It represented the 4 continents. Scientific. So somebody studied this and they said this is what it is. So for an American, they were called red and choleric. I had to look that up. Choleric meaning bad-tempered or irritable, and that the Americans would stand straight up. The European white were called white and sanguine, which meant optimistic or positive, and they were also muscular. Asian were called shallow, which means a person's face unhealthy yellow or pale brown color, and also melancholic, feeling an expression of intense sadness and very stiff. This was how they categorized the different continents of people. And for the African, they called the African black phlegmatic, which meant unemotional, calm, dispositioned, and lazy. Sometimes not human. These stereotypes, they're still with us today. The fact that someone could do a study, because understand, when we say follow the money, by now, America is involved in the transatlantic slave trade. And so if you give someone a reason or a justification not to be able to look at a people and say that's a mother, that's a father, that's a child, rather that's a thing, that's something that's lazy, that's something inferior to me, that's something that is not equal to me, and you couple that with free labor. Free labor. You know, we all know that America was built on the backs of African slaves. And so, you know, a lot of times it's focused on the South, but it was not just the South, as I learned so in Alabama. It was all over. And I know, this feels a little heavy. Let's take the breath. Let's take a breath here. Because what's inspiring to me is that learning that we created this word, this phrase, this type to support making money, more money. And with that, I know that as we are all here at this time, by divine intention, we are the ones here to create a different word, to create a different system. Because as we have seen, this system of race, this systematic system of race has been imbued in everything. And so it's no wonder that our government, our politics, our schools, our healthcare, everything is turning upside down. But we want to be aware that the fight is not to hate another. That merely keeps us locked in this prison that says we are different. That keeps us locked in the illusion that we can't be a world of equality. Some people say it's impossible. It just can't be. Well, the world did not always have race. It did not always have this system. So if it did not always have it, we can create something new. That's why it's, in this juncture, a way for us to do this, a way for us to be involved, to participate, is politically. It is to help create new legislation, because in our political system, it is following the money tree. It is encompassing money as the driving force to still keep inequality running in our world. You know, they say that there have been people that have spent their life's work trying to find a particular gene that they can scientifically says is a race gene. And the only genes they keep finding are the human genes. We all are human beings, and we all are equal. We have just been living the lie that there is such a thing as race. What would this world look like if we didn't have race? Culture, different cultures, but not race. Is that something that we can even try to expand our mind to think? Because right now, the power keeps making race a construct, a political war, money the driving force. Race is a social construct, meaning that the stigma and divisions associated with it are born out of political and cultural rather than purely biological factors. It's not a biological factor. There is no such thing as race. There's human beings, but there is no such thing as race. There, on each continent, of course, it's a different continent. So the culture, the food, the plants, the vegetation, everything would be different. And so you would eat different foods and your skin would be different. But that does not have to designate a race. That designates a culture that's stemming from that continent. This story made it very helpful to justify this new trade, making people inferior and not human to others, to the church and to themselves. Because I would wonder sometimes, okay, you say you believe in God. How could that be a participant when you have a family that you have destroyed, and not many? But this story was so ingrained, and you know, if you're not the one, it's easy to participate. Your neighbors are doing it, your families are doing it. Everybody says it's all right. You look around and you think, well, maybe it is all right. You know, have you ever been a part of a protest that goes awry? And there's a moment in there where you can feel that you may need to make a different choice, that it's either getting ready to get violent or just absolutely wild and out of control. That the whole reason and the point that you were there is now being trapped in anger and fear and judgment. And in that moment, if you're not able to separate, then you will, I forget what they call it, but it's kind of like the wildness of the energy of the crowd just takes over. And you are participating in things that you normally would not do, but you're caught up in it. You're caught up in it. The racist ideas and turning them into laws here in America. And laws gave even the poorest white people the right not to be enslaved for life. So, you know, there's always people that feel like, you know, oh my God, here they go again, here they go again. You know, I don't have this, and I'm white. I love this phrase because it's very true that there were laws in the South that had the Civil War not happened, they were going to have slaves. Africans were going to be slaves for an eternity, for the rest of their God-given life. And so as a white person, even if you were poor, you were granted that by law, that you were white, and so you would not be enslaved for life. Your family would not be sold off at auction. You would even get free property. Just give you land. That is really something to think about. That this story that began, that created the difference in people, that said, because you look different or in a different region, You are less than. Now, you know what's really amazing about that? In Africa, some of the most advanced technology of that time that existed. I mean, you think about the pyramids. There's so many things that you think about. The Aztecs. They had computers that they made then. The sundial. The African continent. The Africans were so much more advanced than and the things that they created. But when you are gung-ho for this new possibility, for this new way of control, who doesn't like being in control? Some people don't, but most people want to be able to control things. So here now, you find that you have the weapons, you have the guns, and you can control this country. So, what definition, I'm asking you, do you have of race? Have you thought about it? If there is no such thing as race, then what is the definition that we have? I've been sitting with that, and I'm like, if there isn't a definition, if there isn't a race that says, I'm separate from you, then what is left? What do I see? Right now, I still see race because that's been ingrained. But as I sit with it every day, it's like this lotus flower that continues to open. What would another person be if I didn't see them as a race first? Do you see the race? A lot of people want to say I'm not racist and so I don't see color. I'm just saying, think about it. Because if that's not what you see, what you're seeing, what are you seeing? What are you relating to? What are you connecting with? What is race to you? Think about it. You know, one of the things that I think as we are really birthing into this new world, and I am, for one, most days I'm excited that I'm a part of what can be new. There is no completion to this divine thing called life. So, but I can be a part of this huge conscious swing that is taking place right now, that I can be a part of contributing to a new way of thinking, of being, and a new way of communicating. Talking about racism doesn't make you a racist. If we don't talk about it, how do we move beyond it? I know that sometimes it appears to get very heavy. And I will say again, as I've always said, this is our history. And I mean everyone in America. This is not a white guilt, a shame, a blame. This is an opportunity for us to examine our own thoughts, our own thinking, and then from that space, decide how you want to participate, how you want to move forward. I have said before, for me, a long time, I thought that racism was about changing people's hearts and minds, and I think that's there, but more so now, I understand that when I've been told a lie that this thing called race, there's no such thing. There's no gene for a race. There's only human beings. So, going forward, How do I embrace? I recognize my culture. I am a black woman. I recognize that in my culture, the foods that we eat and the stories that we share, that they're important. I recognize that my ancestors are important. Important to me, recognizing what they sacrificed in order for me to be here today. But do we need a race for that? These are questions. When I ran across the TED Talk, and John Beeman is his name. It's on our webpage, universalspiritcenter.org. Please go check out this TED Talk. It's really powerful, and it has just constantly makes me think more, deeper, because we don't just stop with white, black. I mean, when 9/11 happened, we were attacking Muslims just because of the way they were dressed. It would automatically, you're a terrorist. This story of race, that's what's been embedded in our system. So how would our system change if we can now create laws that take race out of our world? What would that be like? So I will say, if you're looking for how you can participate, how you can inspire, what is yours to do? There is a plethora of opportunity now. You know, you can hold a secret for so long, but at some point, that secret starts to boil up, and that's where we are. The secrets of our past are boiling up for us not to take them into our new future. I know some say that, oh, I wish America was the way it was. I do not. I want the change. I want to be able to look at a government that represents our world. I want to be able to participate in a political system that supports what we have been saying, America is great. I want to be able to look at people and see a human being and see the light of spirit in them. Not a race, but a presence of God. A divine and unique emanation of God. I want to be able to look out and see that in the world. I want to see it in my laws and my legislation. I want to see it in my next door neighbor. I want to see it in myself. I want to see this divine presence everywhere. And yes, there are days that I know we all have where we're totally in awe of the divine magnificence. And we want to hold on to those days. Because in the times when we don't know if this is real, if there will ever be, for me, I hold on to that knowing that yes, I know it's possible. I know it's possible. Learning what has brought us here is not a taboo. It is a gift. It is a powerful gift that constantly is nudging us, shining a light saying that I am with you. There is a solution. There is an answer. Do we have it at this moment? Maybe not. But is it available? Yes, it is. It is available. So I urge you, open your heart ask the question, what is race? And does it have to define our world? Does it have to define who we are? Does it have to define you? These are questions that I'm sitting with. These are thoughts. And as I walk around throughout my day, there are times that it becomes very present. And I'm like a cat sitting on the tip of my consciousness, listening, being aware, checking in. So as we recognize that each of us have a stronger sense of responsibility to live that light that we are, to share it, to shine it, and to participate in it. That I know some days you may feel like, I can't do anymore, I've done all that I can. And on those days, rest. Call a practitioner and let them anchor you in prayer, knowing the truth that this is just a moment. It does not have to be a continuous experience. Just a moment. I want to leave you with this. This is a defining time. This time will be talked and shared in our history as we are fighting to share our true history, to recognize that sharing the truth about the journey that we've come from as Americans, as from Africans to become Americans, from Europeans becoming Americans, as we have created this America, we have created this America. We are now the forefathers to write the new America. That's what's being called forth right now. We are the forefathers to write the new America, the expanded America, the America that the forefathers could only see a little bit of a glimpse of, because they were caught in an illusion. But that illusion is falling away from all of us. And it's fearful at times, and it frightens some of us. What will we be? We will be a better us. We will be different, absolutely. And do we know exactly what that is? No. But stay in there. We need your voice, we need your spirit, we need your ideas to help us move to a world that guns aren't killing our children, killing people because you believe in a race. As traumatic as a lot of this is, and my goodness, is it? Don't give up. Don't give in. This is the time to anchor in your spiritual tools, to go in your toolbox. Don't look away. It's no time to put your head in the sand. Of course, sometimes we get tired, but know that you are making a difference. And if you haven't decided how you're going to, you can. The fact, when we start to shift our thinking, the ripples in the water change. The wind blows in a different direction. Understand, we cannot and will not go backwards. Life is ever unfolding and evolving. And so we are in the chaotic chaos of it at this moment. We'll evolve because we must evolve. I believe that. So I want to thank you for joining me, whether you're joining me today, Wednesday, or at a later time. And if you have thoughts or conversations that you would like to have with me, please, I welcome them. I welcome the opportunity to have the conversation that can expand both of us and all of us. To have the conversation that can feel so uncomfortable not knowing what to do with it. But knowing that in a spiritual community, we are practicing our highest and best. And even on days when we fall below that, we are falling in the hands of Spirit. So I thank you for blessing me today, for being here with me. I thank you for this opportunity always to come and be in this divine oneness with you. For this power and presence that is always moving in and through us. And with that, I would like to share with you. Next week, we will have our wonderful Toby Geis that will be here doing some healing breath work. I invite you to come. I invite you to come back on Wednesdays. Come back to Wednesdays. We're working on some other things as well. But know that we are here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday when Toby's in the house. Also, for those of you that may not know, let's see, my technology is going a little slow here. Okay, it'll chime in a minute. For those of you that may not know, our Reverend Kevin is having a book study, and it will start August the 3rd, and which is a Wednesday, and go through August the 31st. There we go. That's his book study. The registration fee is $115, and it's for 5 Wednesdays. This book is really great. What's in the Way is the Way. I'm actually going to be speaking this Sunday, and I will be talking about some things from that book. Okay, my Wi-Fi is really acting up right now. Okay.
Power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you.
Thank you all for being here. My Wi-Fi got a little wonky, so I know I'm sending blessings to each and every one. Peace and blessings.